Hey guys, I am Andy and it is Whiteboard Wednesday where we unpack information that helps your church. If you could do us a huge favor, please like and share this video so we can continue putting out content like this for you guys every single week. So live streaming is something that a lot of churches are beginning to incorporate with their services, especially with the addition of Facebook Live. You can hardly get on Facebook on a Sunday morning anymore without seeing a live stream to a service. So your church may be wondering, how do I get something like this started? I've gotten some quotes on some budgets and they're for tens of thousands of dollars and that's just way out of our budget. Well, the first step to live streaming your services is getting a good camera. So this week on Whiteboard Wednesday, Alan has put together 5 cameras to consider for Facebook Live and live streaming. Thanks again for being with us, Alan, and putting this list together. Take it away.
I think this has to be a record. I'm back again. Is this like the fourth week in a row?
I think it is a record.
The longest tenure of any Whiteboard Wednesday guest.
You're gonna be here soon, and I'll be out.
I'm coming for your job. All right. What I've got here is 5 different cameras, and I want to talk about kind of the strengths and the weaknesses of each one of these. I know that we have already gone over kind of a general camera setup for a church, but this one here is related specifically to live streaming, and there's a lot of reasons why you wouldn't just use, for instance, the G7 that we've already talked about when it comes to live streaming. One of the reasons specifically behind that is that you're going to be plugging it up to a battery, and so you're not going to be able to plug it into the wall necessarily, and sometimes if you do, then there's a ground loop and you have audio issues. There's just all kinds of things so it's not intended for live streaming. We're not going to use it for live streaming. So let's talk about some cameras that you can use. First of all, probably most obvious, we've done it, right? Your cell phone. Your cell phone.
I can start live streaming with just my phone?
Hey, this is a Whiteboard Wednesday fact. I think the very first Whiteboard Wednesday we did, it was all you, and it was just on the cell phone.
Yes. Please don't go back and watch that.
It was not as good as maybe the way we're doing it now, but that was the way we did it the first week. And your cell phone is really great for kind of personal engagement videos. And so there is a time and a place to use your cell phone for live streaming. It's not good for your church service. There are a lot of things that it's not good for, but for a personal engagement video, maybe you just think of something off the cuff and you would like to engage with your church members or with your online audience, your cell phone works great for that, and I'd encourage you to do it. So secondly, this is something I'm not actually a huge fan of, but I've seen it utilized in some pretty good ways, and as a matter of fact, I'm going to suggest that you get on their website and just Google the Mevo, and if you get on their website, you can see some instances where they've used it, and you'll probably see some of the weaknesses of it. One specifically is that it really kind of warps the image. There's some distortion that goes along with that. And then the way that this is designed to be used, it's so that it's a 4K image and you can crop into different parts of the image, and you'll notice some issues with the quality of the image when you start to zoom in. But when can this be used? When is it good to be used? It's good to be used for a time that you'd like to sit down and engage with your audience with a little bit different camera than your cell phone, but specifically where I'm going to recommend this is when it's 2 people, and I think that's where you're going to see it used on their website most of the time, is that it's 2 people sitting down on camera, maybe doing like a question and answer, something that needs to be live, but doesn't necessarily constitute the same setup that you would use for your entire church service. So I would say an engagement video with 2 or more people, like an interview or something like that. So now we get into these bottom 3 cameras, and these are all geared with more of live streaming in mind. Now, I will say that they are, especially some of the first couple that we'll mention, they're kind of geared towards some other thoughts as well, but they will work specifically for live streaming because they have a clean video output, and so they have an HDMI out. All 3 of these cameras that will plug directly into your television switcher or your studio so that you can live stream. So let's talk about these. One thing about all 3 of these is that additional hardware will be required. With both of these, you can set up no additional hardware required. You can go straight from your phone or straight from the Mevo. With all 3 of these, you're going to need additional hardware. So first of all, the Vixia HF R700 or R800. These are good cameras for live streaming because of the functionality, not necessarily because of the image quality. So it leaves a little bit to be desired, but you could pick one of these up. The R700 you could pick up for below $200. If you're doing a multicam setup, 2 or 3 cameras, and you don't have a lot of space in the budget, this might be a good option.
$200.
It doesn't perform really well in low light. but most of the time you'll be able to get away with it. I would really recommend something a little better, but if budget is really important, this is kind of where we're going to go. The R700 is less than $200. The R800 is less than $300. They have a model before that, the R600. I'm just going to say stay away from it, only because you can get the 700 for about the same price and it's a little bit better. So that's the Vixia HF R700 or R800. Let's move up kind of another level, and this is actually what we use at our church. The Vixia HF G20 is what we have. They also have the G30 and the G40 have come out. These have exceptional image quality. They perform acceptable in low light, and we actually really love them at our church. We have a couple of them. We only have a 2-camera setup for our live stream. This is a camera that we've recommended to other churches. I know that they're using, and it works really well for them. I've only got good feedback from it. It's definitely a big step up from this. So this is going to come in, the G20 comes in at around $600, and you're going to go up from there about $100 each model. So really good cameras there. Now let's move to a little bit bigger one, and that is the Canon XA, and they have the 10, the 20, the 35. And
I'm assuming that as we're going on, this is probably the best.
Yes, this is the best one that we're going to mention for this. Now, certainly you could get better, but I feel like we're going to get outside the budget of churches for the most part. Some of the perks on this one are it has XLR inputs. It has a little bit better image quality than this, although I would say that you're not going to notice as much of a difference between these two as you would between these two. But this one is a really good camera. It's perfect for live streaming. There are a lot of strengths to it, and you're going to get, again, just a little bit more expensive as you get into something like this. And with these, you're looking at the 10, the 20, the 35. Depending on the model, you're going to be between maybe $1,200 and $1,800. They do get up. Actually, I know the 35 does get up over $2,000. So definitely going to be more expensive, but this is going to be built for the long haul. It's going to last you a little longer as people are managing it and using it. Another thing I like about this one is that it's a lot more practical to use for announcement videos or things like that, because it does have those XLR inputs, where this one you're going to be plugging in with a little 1/8" plug, and so not going to be quite as easy to use. So these are the 5 cameras that we're looking at for live streaming. They all kind of serve different purposes, but I would kind of divide it into this top one where you're basically set it and you're ready to go, but the quality is going to leave little bit to be desired. And then you have these 3 where it's going to require a little more work. You might need a switcher. You're definitely going to have a capture device to get it back into the computer, but you're going to take a huge step up in quality. So that's kind of where we're at.
Perfect. Well, thanks for running this together for us, Alan. I know next week, be on the lookout, because we are going to talk about more equipment for other parts of your service. So if you're not live streaming, if you're doing announcements or something, Alan's going to let you know of some cameras to pick up for that.
Let me mention one more thing too on this. We're going to direct you to a link to a blog post, and this will be a little more kind of user-friendly, I guess, than just kind of going through and explaining these. But on that blog post, there's going to be a link to a PDF, and on that PDF, you can pick at the top what you're trying to use the camera for. If it's live streaming, if it's for announcement videos, testimony videos, you pick what you're using it for, and there's a graph that you follow, and you say, okay, well, I'll be using a green screen, I won't be using a green screen, I live stream often, I don't live stream often, and we have just a whole bunch of cameras on that page, and you'll follow that, and you'll end up at the camera that's best for your shooting scenario. Yes, yes.
Perfect. Well, so looking down below, we will be posting that down below in the links. So just go there, download that PDF, and look through to see what camera would work for your church. Well, thanks for putting this together for us, Alan. This was Whiteboard Wednesday, and we will see you guys next week.